Welcome, friends. In this session on success at CA examination, BoS session 2, I, CA Ashish Gupta, Joint Director Board of Studies, welcome you all. Now, in today's session, the paper is Advanced Financial Management, that is paper number 2 at final level. Student, as you know that our exams are approaching near. Hardly 20 days are left. So we can say 20 to 30, only about 20 days are left. Now here our strategy, how we have to proceed is very important here. So student, in today's session, first I will discuss with you first what are the various strategy, like what we need to do, how to we prepare in these days, then one day before examination and during the examination. So I have divided my PPT in three sessions, three subsections, where I will cover these days, how we have to cope up with these days, and when then we have to one day before examination and then during the examination. Salesh, good morning, madam. So let us start with first of all, how we have to proceed these days. Now, these days, it is very important that screen is visible. Okay. So it is very important that you have to start winding up your syllabus and thoroughly review the same and ensure that none of the topic is left unattended. Now, student, what happens? Syllabus is a benchmark. Syllabus is a benchmark for the paper setters. They are provided with the first thing that they are provided with the syllabus. So you have to, my request to you, please go through the syllabus very thoroughly. And if any topic has been, you feel that has been left unattended, please refer the ICAI study material so that you can cover up this topic. Even you can refer the net for the same. There is no problem for the same. Now, next important, don't skip any topic. Now, student, it is a time. If any topic that you have skipped earlier in your preparation, please don't skip the same topic because all topics are equally important. As mentioned in our earlier sessions, now that there is a the structure of the question paper is that we have to question papers are a combination of theoretical as well as numerical questions. So sometimes it may be possible that a question may be from a section that you have left. So then, and other question you know very well. So ultimately that you are losing the unnecessary marks there. Okay. Then required, if required, master the basic concepts such as time value of money, NPV, cost of capital, etc. Now, student, please note that. Now, these are some topics that you have covered. We have covered at intermediate level of our CA syllabus in paper FM are very important, or you can say they are form the basis of the preparation for your this paper. Now, time value of money is very frequently used here. Even advanced version of time compounding, like when we were discussing about time value of money, the concept of compounding we have discussed here. Now here, the advanced version of compounding, that is daily compounding, will be discussed here. So you should be thorough with the concept of time value of money. NPV concept, because it will be frequently used there. Next, it comes the cost of capital, because cost of capital concept is very important because your one chapter security valuation is particularly very important in relation to that. Now, very important. Make small notes in the bullet point form for the revision one day before examination. It is very important. Sometimes what happens, especially for the theoretical portions, the time, because study material have this much of strength. Okay, so you don't have the time to go through each and everything one day before examination. So my request to you, please prepare small bullet points on that exam for the examination revision point of view that you will refer one day before examination. So you just make your bullet points, key points, or just so that at least one day before examination, you not to devote too much of your time on any of revising these topics. Okay. Then very important, understand the logic behind each and every concept. Now, still you have some time. So if in question you are not clear about, you can understand the logic behind the same. Now student, it is very important that sometimes some formulas, of course, if you ask me, I will always say hardly there are only few formulas in AFM paper. Okay, so my request to you, if any formulas are there that are, so don't go for the derivation, because some formulas have been derived by using advanced mathematical techniques that are beyond the scope of the of your syllabus. So only you have to just concentrate on their application part. Otherwise, what you can do, you just can go through. You can understand the logic. What are the logics for the each of the questions? Next, very important, refer all ICAI publications available on ICAI website. Now, student, my request to you, whatever the publication ICAI publication available ICAI website, please refer them. Even you can refer previous year's questions paper if they are, because see, earlier version was strategic financial management and advanced financial management. To some extent, is the rebranding of the paper. Of course, one of some topics newly have been added, but hardly any deletion has been carried out from the previous version. So even you can refer the previous question paper, that will be helpful for you to you. Now, very important, refer examiners' comments on the performance of candidate. Yuvraj, I got your point. Okay, beta. What I will see, if possible, I will try to cover Hindi. Some tips I will share with you in the Hindi. Don't worry. Stay with us. Okay, what I will do, I will repeat the things in the Hindi as well if you require. Now, बच्चों आपसे स्टूडेंट्स आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप जो आईसीआई की वेबसाइट पर पब्लिकेशन आप उसको रेफर कीजिए। अगर आपको लगता है कि एसएफएम जो पहले पेपर था उसकी भी एप्लीकेशंस रेफर कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली वो भी आपके यूज में आएगा, क्योंकि सिलेबस में कोई खास चेंज नहीं है, इट इज जस्ट उसको नया नाम दिया गया है। इसके बाद नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज रेफर एग्जामिनर्स कमेंट on the performance of candidate from the previous listed answer. It is like that, learn from the mistakes of other, because when you will refer these examiner's comment, you will understand where the students normally commit the mistake and you can avoid the same. स्टूडेंट्स, ये बहुत जरूरी है, आप यह कमेंट्स जरूर रेफर करें, क्योंकि उसका फायदा आपको क्या, लाभ क्या रहेगा कि जब आप उन क्वेश्चंस का देखेंगे कि एक एग्जामिनर ने कहाँ कहाँ आपकी त्रुटियां और गलतियां रहती हैं, तो आप वह त्रुटियां और गलतियां अपने परीक्षा में उनको नहीं करेंगे, क्योंकि आपने उसका आपको पहले से ही उसका ज्ञान रहेगा कि हम यहाँ यहाँ गलतियां कर सकते हैं। Don't ignore the theoretical portion of study material at all. Now, student, it is very important. Now, what happens? Sometimes there are misconceptions in the mind of the student that chapter number 1, chapter number 2, chapter number 7, chapter number 14 are the 15 are the theoretical. No, these are our, like, if study material is with me, sometimes students say, sir, these chapters are theoretical. Chapter number 15. Yes. So in the study material, normally they say that one, okay, one that is related to financial policy and strategy, and financial policy and corporate strategy, then risk management, and then your topic is securitization, that is chapter number 7, and that is last chapter, that is 15 number chapter. These are theoretical chapters. Of course, student, theoretical questions are asked from these topics, but remember that it is a paper setter's freedom. They can test the theory as well from other chapters as well. So my request to you, don't skip the theoretical portion of other numerical based question chapters as well. स्टूडेंट्स, ये जनरली देखा गया है कि बच्चों के दिमाग में यह रहता है कि चैप्टर नंबर 1, चैप्टर नंबर 1, चैप्टर नंबर 2, चैप्टर नंबर 7, चैप्टर नंबर 15, 4 चैप्टर्स थ्योरी के हैं, इसके अलावा हमें थ्योरी नहीं पढ़नी है। यह एक गलत उनके दिमाग में भ्रम है, क्योंकि पेपर सेटर कहीं से भी थ्योरेटिकल आपके जो थ्योरी वाला पोर्शन है उससे भी क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता है। So it is very important you don't skip any theoretical portion from this portion. Okay, very important. At least you should try to attempt any mock test in examination like condition. Of course, mock tests are out. It has been long for a time since question papers as well as mock tests are available. At least attempt the mock test in your examination like condition so that you may be aware that where you will lose the marks. Okay. Also, it will help you to make that time management, because in time management, I think is a basic, very crucial for your uh, in examination, because normally it has been students normally says that sir मेरा पेपर नहीं हुआ है, my time complete नहीं हुआ है. So it is very important. ओके स्टूडेंट, सो आपसे विनती है कि आप एक मॉक टेस्ट जरूर अटेम्प्ट करें, क्योंकि मॉक टेस्ट आपको एक रियल लाइफ सिचुएशन का आइडिया देता है और आपको अपने समय का प्रबंधन करने में आपको हेल्प करता है, जिससे कि आप उसका सदुपयोग कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि समय प्रबंधन ही अगर देखा जाए परीक्षा का एक मूलभूत आधार होता है. उसके बाद आपको उस मतलब वही अगर आपका मूलभूत आधार सही है तो आपको आगे दिक्कतें कम रहेंगी. And next is, don't pay heed to the rumors, especially toxic content video on social media. Now, student, nowadays, the social media is a part of our life. We can't ignore it. Okay, but my request to you, please don't pay heed to the rumors. Okay, because normally toxic videos only create confusion in mind. It creates a fear in your mind. Oh my, if it is, because what happens, if something they pose like it happened with the one student, so it is a human nature that we also consider ourselves on this that person's position. Ultimately it creates a fear in our mind. So my request to you, please avoid to watch this kind of video. If you have any doubt or you need any clarification, please do contact Board of Studies. We are here to help you. Okay, so just avoid to pay the heed to the such rumors. स्टूडेंट, यह अक्सर देखा गया है कि आज की डेट में बच्चे सोशल मीडिया का बहुत उपयोग करते हैं. देखा जाए तो आज की डेट में सोशल मीडिया हमारा एक जिंदगी का बहुत महत्वपूर्ण अंग बन चुका है. पर हम इस बात से भी हमें इस सतर्क रहना चाहिए कि जो बातें मीडिया पे सोशल मीडिया पे दिखाई जाती हैं उस पर हम ज़्यादा ध्यान ना दें, क्योंकि अगर हम उस पर ज़्यादा ध्यान देते हैं तो हमारे मन में डर और हमें कंफ्यूजन हमें मतलब कंफ्यूजन पैदा हो जाता है. उसकी वजह से क्या होता है कि हम परफॉर्मेंस हमारी पुअर हो जा हमारी गलत हमारी परफॉर्मेंस गिरती है. तो मेरा आपसे रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि आप इन सबको ना देखें, ज़्यादा ध्यान ना दें, बिल्कुल ही ना ध्यान दें. मैं तो ये कहूँगा, और हो सके तो जो भी अगर आपको कोई शंका है तो आप कृपया बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज़ में हमें कांटेक्ट करें, हमें हमसे संपर्क करें. हम आपकी समस्या का निवारण करेंगे, क्योंकि हम आपके लिए यहाँ हैं, जिससे कि आपको कोई दिक्कत ना आए. नाउ, okay, 1 second. Now we come to the next thing, the structure of the question paper. Student, it is very important that we should understand what is the structure of the question paper. Now, our question paper is of 100 marks and duration is 3 hours. 15 minutes, of course, is extra for the reading time. Initially, it is given there. And here it consists of 2 parts. Part 1, my mistake, part 2 has been missed out. Part 1 is basically, I just write it down here. This is part 2. Okay. Part 1 is MCQ based or case scenario based question will be consist of 30 marks. Okay. So here basically the case scenario will be in such manner. Ultimately there will be 15 MCQs of 2 marks each. Okay. And here the descriptive, this will be consist of your numerical as well as theoretical questions. Okay, this will consist of, so here this will be consist of 70 marks and here it will be consist of 30 marks. स्टूडेंट, अगर हम बात करते हैं क्वेश्चन पेपर की, क्वेश्चन पेपर को हम 2 भागों में विभाजित कर सकते हैं. पहला भाग एक जो आपका मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस है, जिसका लिए आपको कई केस सिनेरियोज मिलेंगे। केस सिनेरियो 3 भी हो सकते हैं, 5 भी हो सकते हैं, पर अल्टीमेटली अंत में 15 ही क्वेश्चन एमसीक्यूज पूछे जाएंगे जो 2 नंबर के होंगे, जिससे कि आपका 30 मार्क्स का टोटल बनता है। दूसरा पार्ट भाग है वो आपका डिस्क्रिप्टिव टाइप का क्वेश्चंस होता है, जो आपके न्यूमेरिकल बेस्ड भी हो सकता है और थियोरेटिकल बेस्ड भी हो सकता है। तो ये हमारा एक बेसिक क्वेश्चन पेपर का स्ट्रक्चर है। और जहां तक की बात है इसके समय की, 3 घंटे का समय है और 15 मिनट आपको उसमें पढ़ने का टाइम एक्स्ट्रा दिया जाता है, जो आपके शुरू में दिया जाता है। Now we come to the one day before examination. It is very important how we have to cope the our preparation, or we can how we have to prepare ourselves for a one day before examination. Very important. Revise what already you have done. Very important, because what happens, whatever we have done, my request to you, please don't try any new thing. Because sometimes what happens, if you try any new thing, if it goes well, no problem, but if it goes wrong, you will lose the confidence. Okay, very important. Then refer bullet points and small notes for the theoretical papers prepared early, or even theoretical questions. Okay, theoretical portion. Okay, so it is very important. Now the notes that you have prepared these days, that will be worked at this moment. Okay, then it was for numerical papers, practice questions with the small workings and calculations. Now, student, nowadays, if we talk about, even we can devote a lot of time on each question. But when the one day before examination, the syllabus is that much. So if it is very important that for numerical questions, because it is a very common doubt, is sir, how we prepare the numerical questions one day before examination. Now, student, in that case, it is very important that you should ensure that just carry out a very small calculations, or just scribbling type. Okay, just okay this question, because you have devoted a lot of time. Earlier you have devoted a lot of time, so you know to repeat each and everything again and again. But you should be understand what is the logic behind, and just carry out small calculations, and especially that portion where you normally stuck. You just make out the calculation of that part where you normally stuck, then it will be certainly helpful to you. Now students, ये अगर मैं आपको हिंदी में बताता हूँ, सबसे पहले यह है, पहला आपके लिए यह बहुत जरूरी है। आप ये देखें कि आपने जो करा है उसी को आप दोबारा उसका अभ्यास कीजिए। नया कोई सब टॉपिक उठाने का फायदा इसलिए नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर आपने वह कर दिया ढंग से, अगर आपका आंसर उसमें गलती नहीं रही तो कोई परेशानी नहीं रहेगी। लेकिन अगर आपने उसमें नहीं आंसर आपका करेक्ट आ पाया, तो आपका आत्मविश्वास खतरे में पड़ सकता है। और उसके अलावा जो आपने बुलेट पॉइंट्स और छोटे छोटे नोट्स बनाए थे अपने पहले, आप उनको अभी रेफर कर सकते हैं। और जो यहाँ तक बात रही न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चंस की, अभी आपके पास न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चंस को दोबारा करने का समय नहीं है। तो सबसे बढ़िया जो आपके पास तरीका रहेगा वो यह रहेगा कि आप उन क्वेश्चंस का जस्ट थोड़ी बहुत वर्किंग कीजिए, बहुत स्मॉल वर्किंग। और स्पेशली आप वहां पे वर्किंग कीजिए जहां आपको लगता है कि मैं अटक सकता हूं। तो यह बहुत जरूरी है, जैसे कि आप एक दिन का टाइम का सदुपयोग करें। यह बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि एक दिन का समय आपके लिए एक बहुत बढ़िया अपॉर्चुनिटी है। नाउ स्टूडेंट, इट इज अ वेरी गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर यू ऑल, बिकॉज in our days when I were doing my CA, there was no such leverage was there, because I remember that when morning there was a morning shift time was there, and the time I think papers goes from 8 to 11 in the morning. So after finishing of the exam at 11 o'clock, normally we used to come by the bus or public transport. So normally we used to reach around 12:30 at our home, and after having a lunch, we normally have to take a rest because we have got up early in the morning. And you imagine that we have to manage our complete syllabus within the span of 6 to 8 hours only, because again for next day we have to take a proper sleep. So it is very important that. And for numerical paper, हाँ, yeah. And so it is very important that so one day before examination is very, you can say it is a luxury, or it is a very good chance for you to make and to get prepared for the next day examination. Now stay away from the mobile and avoid discussion with your peer on any question, as difference of opinion can lead to confusion and panic. Yeah, that's very important. It is better you don't discuss with your peer anything, because sometimes what happens, any difference in the opinion may cause a panic or confusion. Okay, and my request to you, generally, whatever your doubts are there, you just clarify them well advance in time, because normally, if it may be possible that the day before your examination, if there is a holiday, so the concerned faculty may not be available at BOS office. Keep your admit card, pen, and other stationery items, especially calculators for numerical papers in advance, so that nothing could be missed out in last minute. Now, student, it is very important. All stationery item. I think there are some your instructions in. I have not gone through the instructions, but I came to know that normally you have to attempt the examination with a with a black ballpoint, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so you just keep your all proper stationery items, scales, or your ball pen, and your admit card, calculator for the numerical based questions. It is very important. So my advice to you, please, you keep two calculators with you. As a one is as a stepney. If one stop working, at least you have an option to move from one to another. Okay, otherwise you will be in the stress at that moment of time. Then very important, take proper sleep. And very important, you have to see what happens. It is normally happens, the sleep, some it is a, of course it is a individual's habit or individual nature, but sometime may we don't may feel sleepy, okay, because of the something. But my request to you to take proper rest. Even you don't, because if you keep on awake the whole night, it may be possible that the next day you may not perform well with your full energy. Then take proper meal before going to examination. It is very important. You have to, don't go empty stomach in the examination, because then it will you have a health issues, and during the examination your performance will be hampered. अगर हम बात करें स्टूडेंट्स, सबसे पहले अपने मोबाइल फोन और अपने दोस्तों के साथ किसी भी क्वेश्चन के ऊपर चर्चा को हो सके तो अवॉइड करें, क्योंकि अगर आपने उसके बारे में चर्चा करी और कहीं अंतर आ गया किसी आंसर में, तो आपके दिमाग में कंफ्यूजन और डर का माहौल भी बन सकता है। और यह भी पॉसिबल है कि अगर मान लीजिए आपका एग्जाम छुट्टी से के अगले दिन है और बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज में कोई फैकल्टी नहीं है, तो आपके लिए दिक्कत और बढ़ सकती है। फिर दूसरा आता है अपना एडमिट कार्ड, पेन, और आपके दूसरे आइटम को जैसे फुट्टा वगैरह, और अपने पास ढंग से लेके जाइए। और हो सके तो जो कैलकुलेटर होता है वो दो लेके जाइए, अगर एक खराब हो जाए तो दूसरे से आप काम कर पाएंगे। फिर बहुत जरूरी बात, आप अपनी प्रॉपर नींद, अपनी जितनी नींद है पूरी लीजिए, ढंग से नींद लीजिए। कई बार यह होता है कि नींद आती नहीं है, वो मेरे साथ भी होता था, मैं इसको नहीं कह सकता, डिनाई नहीं कर सकता। बट हाँ, मैं रेस्ट प्रॉपर लेता था, और आपसे भी मैं ये गुजारिश करूंगा, आप रेस्ट कीजिए, क्योंकि अगर आपने पूरी रात जग लिए तो फिर आपको अगले दिन पेपर में बहुत दिक्कत आएंगी। और उसके सबसे लास्ट में, खाना जाने से पहले आप अपना प्रॉपर भोजन लीजिए, जिससे कि खाली पेट जाने से कई बार वहां पे तबीयत खराब होने का डर रहता है और आपकी परफॉर्मेंस खराब हो जाएगी। तो स्टूडेंट, विद दिस वाज अ टिप वन डे बिफोर एग्जामिनेशन. नाउ आई एम कमिंग टू द ड्यूरिंग द एग्जामिनेशन सब इंपॉर्टेंट टिप्स. When can we talk in this session? In the end. Uh, in the end. Okay. So Raj, you are asking, sir, when we can ask a doubt in the session. Student, just let me finish off my PPT. Okay, then I will open the session for the 5 minutes. Now, सबसे first, very important, initial instructions. Student, when you get the answer book or question paper, very important, initial instructions are there. My request to you, of course, these instructions are standardized instructions and these are repeated every time. But my request to you, at least give a glance to them, because sometime if there is any change, then you can come to know. Very important, in the question answer book, some instructions may be regarding how you have to attempt the question. These are very important because I am also the one of the victim of the same. Because I remember that, I don't remember, I think I was in college days, I never used to go through the instruction. And what used to happen, I generally, there are instructions in every examination, you should start fresh question from the answer of fresh answer should be fresh page. I never followed this instruction till my, I think, college days. So it was ultimately was may lead to losing of marks. I will not say I have, but sometimes you may lose the marks on that account. So instructions, reading of instructions is very important. So स्टूडेंट्स, यह बात जरूरी है कि जब आपको जब क्वेश्चन पेपर मिलता है और आपको आंसर बुक मिलती है, आप एक बार इंस्ट्रक्शंस को जरूर पढ़िए। जो भी उसमें आपको दे रखे निर्देश वगैरह दे रखे हैं आपको, वो जरूर पढ़िए, क्योंकि हम मानते हैं कि निर्देश आपके मानक हैं और पहले से बने हुए हैं और वही आपके रिपीट होते हैं। लेकिन यह जरूरी है कि उससे आपको क्या फायदा रहता है कि कई बार अगर अगर उसमें बदलाव हुआ है तो आपको पहले से ही पता लग जाएगा। तो यह बहुत जरूरी है कि आप इंस्ट्रक्शंस को एक बार ग्लांस जरूर दीजिए। ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग, the initial 15 minutes time allowed is a good for starting to brainstorm the choice of the question to attempt and determining the order in which they are to be tackled. Don't take judgment about the question paper in first 15 minutes. First 15 minutes are very crucial. Okay, now these you can say it's a very crucial because it decides how you have to move further. Now what happens, you have to see in what order I have to attempt the questions. Okay, that you will decide at your own. Okay, so it is very important and you have to make judgment because time management is very important. You have a limited time. Okay, don't it has a limit, but at this time it is very important. Don't panic. If new questions are there, don't panic because paper is same for everyone. Okay, sometimes people say, oh, ye kahan se this, how we have this paper, I've never this. So don't get panic. Don't get panic. It is very important. स्टूडेंट्स, अगर हम बात करें 15 मिनट जो आपको मिलता है पेपर को पढ़ने का, यह बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है आपके लिए, क्योंकि यह आपका निर्णय ले लेता है कि आप पेपर में क्या क्या कैसे करेंगे और किस तरतीब से चलेंगे जिससे कि आपको उस पेपर को 3 घंटे में पूर्ण कर पाए। तो यह आपके लिए बहुत जरूरी है और आपको यह हमेशा याद रखना है, डरना नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर आप डर जाएंगे तो पेपर में आपको दिक्कत आएगी। पेपर सबके लिए एक ही आया, क्वेश्चन पेपर में कोई फर्क नहीं है, क्वेश्चन पेपर सबके लिए एक है। ऑफ कोर्स समटाइम देयर मे बी अ डिफरेंस ऑफ सेट्स, बट ओनली द ऑर्डर इज डिफरेंट, क्वेश्चन पेपर कंटेंट इज द सेम, सो डोंट वरी अबाउट द सेम। नेक्स्ट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, स्टार्ट विद योर स्ट्रेंथ। Begin the exam with the question you are the most comfortable with. This builds your confidence and helps to secure marks early in the examination. Now, student, it is very important. Start with the USP. Okay, because what happens? Once you are perform well in the initial question, your start is good. Of course, your end will be good. Your end of your answer question paper will also be good. So it is very important. The starting should be a very good. So ultimately, it will result in a very good ending. So you start with which in the questions which you know very well. यह बहुत जरूरी है स्टूडेंट्स कि जो आपको प्रश्न में आपको जिसमें आपको कॉन्फिडेंस है, आप उन प्रश्न को पहले उठाइए उत्तर देने के लिए, जिससे कि आपके मन में विश्वास बढ़े, और आपका जब विश्वास बढ़ेगा तो आप परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी दे पाएंगे अंत तक। जैसे कहा जाता है कि जिस चीज का भला शुरुआत में भलाई हो, अंत में भी भलाई ही रहती है, वही चीज यहाँ पे भी लागू होती है। टाइम मैनेजमेंट, स्टूडेंट, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. What is time management? Time management is very important, because what happens, you have to allocate the time between the two parts. One is part one, part two. Part one is your theory case scenario based, another is your descriptive based. Of course, in the case scenario, you have not to do anything, but please remember, in the case scenario questions, MCQ also, you may need to carry out calculations. Of course, these calculations are not need to be, does not perform the part of your answer. They are generally carried out, they are carried out in the rough work. Please remember, they have to be carried out in the rough work, because they don't form the part of this your answer. And very important, since you are provided with the OMR sheet, so please mark the correct option in this OMR sheet only, because sometimes it has been noticed that students have marked the answers in the answer books. It may not be evaluated. So very important, you mark your answer in your OMR sheet. Now it is very important, because I remember in the last time in this attempt in May 2024 student, one student came to me. I saw, because she got very less marks, so I was not expecting this much of less marks from the student. So when I asked her, she said, sir, I think I have committed one mistake. When I was making the carrying out the calculation, once my answers came out, I got happy that my answers are matching, but I forgot to mark the or encircle the, that is darken the circle in the OMR sheet. So ultimately that student has lost the mark unnecessarily. So yeah, it is very important. So, and my request to you, at least allocate 30 to 40, 35 to 45 minutes for this MCQ section, because and then rest of that you can divide. यह बच्चों बहुत जरूरी है कि आप समय का प्रबंधन अच्छा करें, और समय का प्रबंधन करने के लिए यह अच्छा है कि आप 35 से 45 मिनट अपने केस सिनेरियो पोर्शन के जिसमें मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस होते हैं उसमें आप ओके, आई विल कम टू दिस, डोंट वरी, don't worry, I will enlighten you on this topic. Calculator में one student has asked कि invigilator does not allow two calculator, they take one calculator. Okay, no problem, this one calculator you can keep in your bag. Okay, otherwise I think I will confirm from this examination sections, are they not allowed to carry the two calculators? Of course you don't carry two calculators with you, because of space constraint, etc., but one extra calculator you can keep on your baggage. Okay, and sir, important topic, I will come to this. Okay, don't worry. बच्चों यहाँ बहुत जरूरी है कि समय का सदुपयोग करना बहुत जरूरी है। और एक इसमें बात हमेशा याद रखना कि जब आप एमसीक्यू करते हैं तो ओएमआर शीट में उसको डार्कन करना मत भूलिए, क्योंकि यह होता है कि अगर आपने मान लीजिए वर्किंग करी हो, वर्किंग आप हमेशा रफ में करेंगे और रफ वर्क का कोई वैल्यूएशन नहीं होता, तो उसके लिए क्या है कि आप बेशक ऊपर से लिख दीजिए रफ वर्क और आप उसमें वर्किंग कीजिए। और वर्किंग में जरूर ध्यान रखिए कि वो आपने सारे आंसर मार्क कर दिए हैं। बच्चा खुशी खुशी में करता है कि मेरे सारे आंसर हो गए हैं, लेकिन मार्क करना अगर भूल गया तो वह अन्य बिना बात के अपने मार्क्स को लूज करेगा। ओके, तो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। नेक्स्ट इज इंस्ट्रक्शंस। Suddenly, what happens? In every question, sometimes in numerical based questions, generally some instructions are written. Okay, generally some instructions are written. So it is very important that you follow these instructions, like present value factor. Okay, now present value factors, if the 4 decimal points have been given in this present value factor table has been given to you. Now, generally what happens? Present value factors, it is very simple to calculate on a simple calculator. But now question arises, up to what decimal point we have to round it off. Now, please note that if any instruction have been given you in the question, like rounding off, okay, like PV factor, okay, any type of or number of days in a year, because sometime number of days in a year 360 are taken, 365 are taken. So you have to follow this religiously, because once you ignore this instruction, you may end up in losing the marks. And generally these instructions are supplemented in the question to ensure the uniformity in answer. So it is very important that, and sometimes now question rises, sir, if nothing has been mentioned, then how much decimal point we have to write off? Because there are many rumors about the same. Student, please note that generally for the present value factors, we can use up to 3 or of 4 decimal points. Okay. For security valuation questions, normally for the value of the security, we can use up to 2 decimal points, because generally share prices are in 2 decimal points. And for the exchange rate, it is always better you refer take the hint from the question itself. If in the question quotations are given up to 4 decimal point, so then you have to round off your answer in 4 decimal point. If they are in 3 decimal point, you have to give the answer in 3 decimal point. If 2, then 2. Okay, now there is another doubt rise, that if the dividend expected is given, it is of course D1. If dividend paid is given, it is D0. But what happens if simple dividend has been given? Don't worry, we consider both answers as correct. Either you take as a D1 or D0. Both alternatives are correct. Now student, please note that it is a common misconception. If I give a note of assumption, my answer will be awarded marks. No, assumptions are awarded marks or assumption based answer if there is any ambiguity. If there is any clarity in the question, there is no ambiguity in the question, then making of unnecessary assumption and answering the question according to the same may end up in losing the marks. यह बच्चों बहुत जरूरी है कि जो आपको निर्देश दिए जाते हैं किसी प्रश्न के साथ, आप उनको ढंग से फॉलो कीजिए। जैसे कि राउंडिंग ऑफ होता है, कितने तक आप उसको राउंड ऑफ करेंगे, और आपको कितने आप एक साल में दिन लेंगे, ये सब ज्यादातर दिए जाते हैं। तो आपको उसको मानना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अगर आपने उसको नहीं माना, और जनरली इसको इसलिए दिया जाता है जिससे कि आंसर में आपकी समता, सबके सारे आंसरों में एक समता बनी रहे, तो उसको अगर आपने अपने हिसाब से उसे कर दिया तो आपको मार्क्स का लॉस हो सकता है। सो माय रिक्वेस्ट आपसे, मैं निवेदन करूंगा कि आप उन इंस्ट्रक्शंस को ढंग से फॉलो कीजिए। अगर वह इंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं दे रखी तो आपको डेसिमल पॉइंट राउंड ऑफ के लिए प्रेजेंट वैल्यू फैक्टर लेना है, 3 या 4 कर दीजिए। सिक्योरिटी वैल्यूएशन का है तो 2 डेसिमल पॉइंट तक ले लीजिए, क्योंकि शेयर की प्राइस, बॉन्ड की प्राइस 2 डेसिमल पॉइंट तक ही करी जाती है। और बहुत जरूरी बात, अगर आपका मान लीजिए फॉरेन एक्सचेंज का क्वेश्चन है, फॉरेन एक्सचेंज के क्वेश्चन में आपको हिंट क्वेश्चन पेपर से देना पड़ेगा कि अगर 4 डेसिमल पॉइंट तक उसमें कोटेशन दे रखी है तो आप 4 डेसिमल पॉइंट तक फॉलो कीजिए, 3 दे रखी है तो 3 तक कीजिए, अगर 2 दे रखी है तो 2 को लीजिए, अपनी तरफ से मत कीजिए। और जनरली यह एक भ्रांति रहती है कि अगर मैंने एक अजम्पशन का नोट दे दिया और आंसर कर दिया तो मेरे को पूरे मार्क्स मिलेंगे, यह गलत भ्रांति है। क्योंकि यह भ्रांति तब काम करती है, अजम्पशन और ये आपके जैसे कहते हैं तब काम करती हैं कि जब आपने उस क्वेश्चन के अंदर कोई एम्बिग्यूटी हो, ओके, कोई संदेह हो। अगर कोई संदेह पूर्वक क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो उसमें आपको कोई नहीं मिलेगा। कई बार ये डाउट राइज होता है कि अगर डिविडेंड दे रखा है, अगर डिविडेंड आई कैन नॉट एक्सप्लेन एग्जैक्टली, डिविडेंड पेड दे रखा है तो आप उसको D0 मान लेते हैं, और डिविडेंड एक्सपेक्टेड यानी कि डिविडेंड तो आप उसको D1 मान लेते हैं। तो अब एक, लेकिन अगर मान लीजिए सिंपल डिविडेंड लाभांश लिखा हुआ है तो आप इसको क्या मानेंगे? तो इसके लिए आप क्या है कि आप इसमें कुछ भी ले लीजिए, दोनों में से हम दोनों ऑप्शन को सही मानते हैं, आपको उसके बारे में चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है। तो स्टूडेंट्स, अब इसके बाद आगे हम देखते हैं और हमें क्या इंस्ट्रक्शंस का ध्यान रखना है। वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एक्यूरेसी। एक्यूरेसी इज द बेसिस ऑफ न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चंस। So very important कि you should check their cross checking. If possible, time permits, again recheck your calculations, because what happens, sometime it has been observed that calculation in the one step may lead to the wrong in the further going. So very important, you just check it. Relevant details. Answers of the theoretical question should be supported by relevant details and be concise. Merely writing headings unless required may not earn any marks. Generic answers should be avoided. स्टूडेंट, यह बहुत जरूरी, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू शुड, आई विल एक्सप्लेन इन हिंदी द कंप्लीट स्लाइड, डोंट वरी। इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू शुड write proper key points in the theoretical answer. Now there is a, I remember that one student came to me and he said I could not get marks. Now, and I said what matter you have, what material you have referred for the theoretical. Then he was saying sir, I have referred some notes. And these notes was merely the headings were like that. Of course, they are matching with the study material, but the required detail was missing. Okay, student. So my request to you, your answer should not, unless and until specified, like say, if verb has been written like this, list out. So of course, in the case of a list out, you have to explain only the headings. But if explain what is there, then you have to give some detail. Okay, your answer should be supported by required details. Okay, and answer should be, generic answer should be avoided because you have to write the key points. Okay, your generic answer are your based on your common knowledge. So these kinds of should be avoided. Okay, then working notes. In numerical questions, the figure or the value used in the main answer should be supported by adequate working notes clearly indicating how figure not provided in the question have been derived. Now, student, what happens? Ultimately, suppose on some conclusion you have reached. Okay, so you have reached on some conclusion based on your calculation. Now, how you have arrived this calculation, it is very important to exhibit, and that forms a part of working note. So working note forms a basis of numerical question, answers of numerical questions. So very important, your answer should be supported by working notes. Now question arises sometimes, student says, sir, I have to follow the format of ICAI study material, etc. Student, please note that ICAI study material is not any kind of a standardized format. You can refer your own format, but provided you should see, if you see the answers of ICAI study material, they are reasonable. They are not detailed. They are not small. Okay. Only thing, if you notice that normally we provide the working notes only for the information that is not written directly in the question, and that we need to make our decisions or make our calculation. So that's why working notes should be that, not that say you know to explain 2 plus 2 equal to 4. It is known to everyone. Okay. So, but you have to carry out a reasonable calculation, show the reasonable calculation, how you have arrived some figure. अब स्टूडेंट अगर हम बात करें एक्यूरेसी की, एक्यूरेसी बहुत जरूरी है आपके यह न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चंस में, क्योंकि अगर आपने एक स्टेप पे गलती कर दी तो आप आगे गलत चले जाएंगे, और अगर समय आपको अनुमति दे तो यह बहुत जरूरी है कि आप एक बारी अपनी गणना को दोबारा चेक कर लीजिए, दोबारा चेक कर लीजिए। देन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, रेलिवेंट डिटेल्स, सबसे जरूरी बात है कि जब आप कोई थ्योरी का आंसर लिखते हैं तो आप उसमें पूरे पॉइंट्स लिखिए, पॉइंट को एक्सप्लेन कीजिए। अगर क्वेश्चन के अंदर लिस्ट लिखा हुआ है तो ऑफकोर्स आपका पॉइंट के हेडिंग से काम चल जाएगा, लेकिन अगर आपको एक्सप्लेन वगैरह वर्ड यूज किए हुए हैं तो आपको यह विवरण देना है इस टाइप से अगर है तो आपको यह बहुत जरूरी है कि आप उसको पूरे उसके की पॉइंट्स लिखिए, क्योंकि आपने नहीं लिखे तो आप मार्क्स लूज करेंगे। और किसी भी प्रकार की कुंजी वगैरह का उपयोग ना करें, कि कुंजियों में जनरली वह सिंपल पॉइंट्स दे रखे होते हैं और वो आप एग्जाम में लिख कर आएंगे तो आप अन्यथा बिना बात के आप मार्क्स अपने लूज करेंगे। और बहुत जरूरी है कि अब आपका आंसर जेनेरिक आंसर नहीं होना चाहिए, वो जनरल आंसर नहीं होना चाहिए, इट शुड बी टेक्निकल आंसर। ओके, शुड बी ओके। सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज जनरली आंसर होता है हमारी आम बातचीत के हिसाब से हमने जो अपना कंक्लूजन निकाल दिया। फिर बहुत जरूरी है कि आपके आंसर में वर्किंग नोट्स वगैरह प्रॉपर बने हों। वर्किंग नोट्स का पर्पस क्या होता है कि आप एक जो किसी फिगर के ऊपर पहुंचे जो क्वेश्चन में नहीं है, तो आप उसकी बताते हैं कि मैं कैसे पहुंचा और आपने उसके बेस पे क्या डिसीजन लिया, तो यह बहुत जरूरी है। देन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, पे वर्ब अटेंशन टू द वर्ब्स इन द क्वेश्चन। Now it is very important. Now sometimes the word are used like that: evaluate, advise, or explain. If you are asked to advise, you should include a final decision or recommendation based on your analysis. Student, it is a very common mistake. Sometimes in the question it is asked, you are required to advise or explain. So then in that case, it is very important that your final answer should be supported by a final decision. Normally, students commit a mistake. They don't give the final answer. So final decision is very important. You should give the same. देन नेक्स्ट, अगर मैं इसको हिंदी में बताऊं, अगर हम ये देखें वर्ड इवेल्युएट, एडवाइज और एक्सप्लेन, तो ये आपको प्रॉपर ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि एडवाइस के वर्ड में आपके आंसर के अंत में, न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चंस के अंत में आपको कोई ना कोई अपना डिसीजन देना पड़ता है। ओके, निर्णय, जिसको हम हिंदी में बोलेंगे निर्णय, आपको देना जरूरी है, क्योंकि निर्णय के बगैर आपका आंसर अधूरा रहेगा। Then it comes a don't panic if stuck. It is very important. It is common to get stuck on a complex numerical questions. If happens, don't spend too much time to solve it. Move on to the other question and come back to it later time permit. Now, student, it is very important. Sometimes we stuck up in the question, and it is natural. Since time is only 3 hours with you, so don't try spend too much time on a same. Leave the space. If time permits, come to again, because we will see further later that time stepwise marking is there. So leave it there and go to the other question. स्टूडेंट, यह बहुत जरूरी होता है, अगर आप किसी क्वेश्चन के अंदर फंस गए आंसर करते समय, तो ज्यादा उस पर समय व्यतीत मत कीजिए, क्योंकि आपके पास समय बड़ा सीमित है। अगर आपने वह टाइम उसमें गवा दिया तो आपको दूसरे क्वेश्चंस के आंसर के लिए टाइम कम बचेगा, तो उसको छोड़ दीजिए। थोड़ी जगह बचे तो जगह छोड़ दीजिए, बाद में उसको देख लेंगे अगर आपको समय उसके लिए अनुमति देता है तो। देन कंट्रोल ऑन योर इमोशंस. Generally, in the numerical question, there is a number of game and there is a temptation to start with those numbers and reach to the correct answer. Now, student, it is a common tendency among the commerce and especially CA student to match the balance sheet. Okay, because I remember from the 11th to 12th class, our only objective is that our balance sheet should match. Because once our balance sheet matches, we feel ourselves very complete. But believe, student, now at this later stage, generally we sometimes we tied up in this game. Okay, we want to say, oh, this is a question, very simple question, I will get answer with like it. But sometimes we may got stuck because there may be some googly in the question. So it is better, don't divide, just control your emotion and don't go into too much depth. If you are start feeling that I could not solve the question, please leave it, otherwise you will again stuck. स्टूडेंट्स, ये बहुत जरूरी है कि अपने भावों को काबू में रखें, क्योंकि अगर हम न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चन देखते हैं तो कई बार लगता है अरे ये तो वही क्वेश्चन है, और हम करने बैठ जाते हैं। कई बार अगर हम फंस गए और हम उसमें ज्यादा ही गहराई में चले गए तो ये हो सकता है कि हम और क्वेश्चंस पे लिए समय छोड़ दें। तो हमें इतना देखना है कि आंसर को हम जल्दी निकाल के, एक टाइम जो दे रखा है उसको निकाल के खत्म करें। It has been received. Now, very important, stepwise marking. Stepwise marking takes care of because as I told you, if you stick in any question, leave it, because stepwise marking is there. Because even if your question is half attempted, don't cross it, leave it as it is there. Okay, if it is covering in your choice part, because even a stepwise marking take care of the same. Once you cross the same, it will not be evaluated at all. So it is very important that don't worry, half question is there, just leave it there. Sir, will usage of short form liable for a deduction of mark? Now, what short form you are talking about? Generally, too much short forms like NPV, everyone knows. Net present value is known, but sometimes short form are used that are not commonly used in the finance. Time value of money, of course, everyone knows. PV factor, everyone knows. So these type of a common forms you can use. There is no problem, but these should be very common. Any uncommon short form may not be understood by the examiner. Okay, if possible, you can write down the example on the same, then I will enlighten the same. स्टूडेंट्स, ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आपके स्टेप वाइज मार्किंग होती है एग्जाम में। तो अगर आपने जैसे पहले बताया कि अगर किसी क्वेश्चन में फंस गए आप उसको छोड़ दीजिए। अगर आपने आधा भी क्वेश्चन किया है, आपका वह उसके लिए उसमें मार्क्स देखे जाएंगे और मार्क्स दिए जाएंगे। अगर आपने उसको क्रॉस कर दिया है तो वह इवेल्युएट नहीं होता और अननेसेसरी आप मार्क्स लूज करते हैं। तो स्टेप वाइज मार्किंग इज देयर, सो इट विल आल्सो हेल्प यू। एंड लास्ट, फाइनल चेक, before handing over the answer book has been mentioned. Just I mentioned answer book. Please ensure that the required details such as roll number, etc. are correctly filled up. Extra answer books are properly tied up, and that too in the order. See, it is very important because sometime in our exam, in our time, I don't know today's time because I'm not that much of aware. But in our time, what used to happen, we have to mark on the cover sheet, the question numbers are there, and question number that we have attempted, we have to mark one, just put a tick or cross, anything we have to put. So normally used to what happens, once we hand over the sheet to the examiner, invigilator, we used to say, yeah, whether I have written my roll number correctly or not. Oh, whether I have done like this or not. Please avoid these things. Just before handing over the answer book to the invigilator, ensure that all the required detail has been duly filled up. And very important, before handing off the OMR sheet, all answers have been darkened. Very important. And next is very important, if you have taken any extra answer books, so make ensure that they are properly tied with your main answer book. Supplementary sheet have been tagged with the main answer book, and that should be two in the order. Suppose if you have taken two answer books, supplementary books, so it is very important that 1 and 2 should be come in the order. It should not be like that in hurry you are attaching 2 number answer book first, supplementary book, and 1 as that. So it is very important. These are small tips, but it always pays. स्टूडेंट्स, यह बहुत जरूरी है कि जब आप अपना उत्तर पुस्तिका एग्जामिनर इन्विजिलेटर को देते हैं, तो आप कुछ चीज़ों का फिर से आप उनको इंश्योर कर दीजिए, जैसे कि उसमें आपने सही से रोल नंबर लिखा है, और भी कोई ऐसी इंस्ट्रक्शंस है तो आप उसको पहले पूरा ढंग से देख लीजिए, क्योंकि देने के बाद कई बार दिमाग में कोई शंका रहे कि मैंने ऐसा करा है वैसा करा है, तो यह अवॉइड करनी चाहिए। अगर आपने कोई अतिरिक्त उत्तर पुस्तिका ली है तो वह आप उसको प्रॉपरली उसके साथ नथी कीजिए, और यह जरूर देखिए कि अगर आपने 2 पुस्तकें अतिरिक्त पुस्तकें ली है तो उनका क्रम सही होना चाहिए। यह जरूरी है कि उसका क्रम सही होना चाहिए। अगर नंबर 1 पुस्तिका पहले लगनी चाहिए, नंबर 2 अतिरिक्त पुस्तिका बाद में लगनी चाहिए। ऐसा ना हो कि अतिरिक्त नंबर 2 पुस्तिका पहले लग जाए और एक बाद में लगे। So student, with this we are coming to this portion only. I will take up your mock test, and this is, you can stay connected with us. जी देखना यही है ना हमारा, यही है ना हमारा BoS knowledge portal वगैरह से। These are our connect with us, or you can write to email at me at sfm-final@icai.in, or even you can contact me over the telephone number with this. So with this student, I am coming to the end of the first portion. Now I am taking one query that can we ask the doubt in this session. Now student, I am opening the session for 5 minutes. You can ask your doubt. This is Savraj, you can ask your doubt better. Suraj? Or any other student could have any doubt, they can in this till our discussion have any doubt, they are free to ask. Okay, one student have asked about that, sir, what are the important topics? I always say only one thing, all topics are equally important, because what happens, I don't know, there is common misconception that forex are very important than this topic, that we don't know better. It is paper setters freedom which topic they want to set the question, and normally we are 2 calculators are not allowed. Okay, I will have to check. My again, one student has confirmed that two calculators are not allowed. But my question, my not, my only I need to confirm. You cannot keep other calculator in the your baggage extra if there is. Okay, I don't. I maybe I will check it out. Okay, I will check it out from the examination section whether these are not allowed. If these are as per instructions, so then you should not carry the same. If these are the in examination section, or I will confirm the same. And now, sir, how can we share the link? Okay, July 21, not BS knowledge board. Student, I think July 21 examination is quite bit old. So if suggested answer there, they will be available with the suggested answer. If suggested answer is there, please check. If there, then please do let me know. I will share with you. Okay. Because if suggested answer there, they are form the part of these answers. Okay, student. Now I think unmute if any. हाँ? नहीं, हाँ देखो नहीं वन स्टूडेंट इज आस्किंग अदिति इनको म्यूट है और अनम्यूट है ना सर Aditi is asking, sir, can we write in our own language? Of course, you can write the answer in your own language, but please remember, in theoretical question, when you will do, there are some key points. Okay, there are some key points that you cannot avoid. So it is very important that these key points, once you go through the theory, na, you will automatically understand that this point is a very important key points. So you in your answer, these key points should be reflected. Remaining answer, keep on write on your language. It hardly matters, but key points should be reflected in your answers. Okay, student. Now I am coming to the mock. Sir, does right? Of course. One student is asking, sir, writing. Does writing matter? It matters a lot better. Of course, I don't say your writing should be like जिसको हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं मोती पिरोना. Okay, but it should be readable. Very important. You have 100. You have mentioned the correct answer. But if no one can read it, then no one can evaluate it. Very important. Please, is my request to you because I have observed even my in one someone known to me student, he was getting failed in the intermediate 3 times. Okay, every time, but the student is very good. Now, once upon a time, I asked him, you just give me show me what is how is you write the answer. Okay, because he had attempted one mock test. When I saw his handwriting, I say, what are you writing, beta? So I told him to improve your handwriting, and that when he improved his handwriting, he passed out the intermediate. Handwriting should be readable. Please remember, because nowadays, see what is happening. Earlier in our time, there were no social media, etc. Okay, though no mobile or no messaging system were there. Of course, we have to be a normally we have to do whatever correspondence even we have to do. We have to do it by hand. Okay, even we have to write a letter to our relative. We have to write it with the hands. So of course, our handwriting are quite of that quality that they are readable. But of course, with the passage of time, since students are normally using the mobile, this is chat box, etc., and they are generally so. Of course, but my request to you, it should be readable. Okay, बेटा डर लग रहा है, डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. डर मेरे को भी लगता था. ओके, डर सबको लगता है. ओके, मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा कि मैं बहुत बहादुर हूं. ठीक है, मैं बहुत बहादुर था. ठीक है ना, मैं बहुत बहादुर था. डरते सब हैं. ठीक है, लेकिन डर को हमें ओवरकम करना है. और बेटा, आपके साथ मैं अपना टेलीफोन नंबर शेयर कर रहा हूं. आपको कहीं समस्या है तो आप मेरे से बातचीत कर सकते हैं. आप मेरे साथ बातचीत कर सकते हैं. तो आपको डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो आप इसको डरने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. आप इसको आराम से कर सकते हैं. बट हाँ बेटा, राउंड ऑफ के बारे में मैंने आपको बताया है कि राउंड ऑफ में कोई दिक्कत नहीं आती है। आपको करना क्या है कि जैसे बताता हूँ मैं आपको, आपको खुद ही पता लग जाएगा जब आप करेंगे कि ये भ्रांतियां दे रखी है कि मेरे इंस्टीट्यूट ने नंबर काट लिए हैं, द इंस्टीट्यूट डिडक्टेड माई मार्क्स ऑन सी नॉर्मली इफ इंस्ट्रक्शंस आर देयर, sometimes you see instructions कि you have to round off the calculation up to 2 decimal point. So don't round off in the 3 decimal point at all, saying that कि I am rounding off on a higher side. Do by only 2. If nothing has been mentioned, it is a common practice up to 2 decimal point. You can write the answer. Okay, don't worry on that part. Okay, still you have any doubt, student? Please, I am sharing my number with you only that purpose. Whatever your doubt, you can discuss with me over the telephone. ओके डोंट वरी अबाउट। सो स्टूडेंट हु इज सेइंग कि सर डर लग रहा है, डोंट वरी, हैव ए चैट विद मी। ओके, आप मेरे साथ बात कीजिए, आपको कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी बेटा। आपको जहां जहां कोई दिक्कत है, और इन स्टूडेंट आई ओपनली ऑलवेज से इफ यू फील एनी कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन इन स्टडी मटेरियल, inconsistency, please contact me immediately over the telephone. Okay, it will certainly be very helpful for me to improve the quality of the study material. So my lines are always open. Of course, if I am in a meeting or somewhere, I may not pick up the phone. You can just send me a message. Sir, I will try to contact you. My contact number is this. I will contact back to you. Don't worry about on this part. Sir, in some answers in different in MTP, RTP, and student, I will love to find out in which questions we have a different approach. It will be certainly helpful for me to correct myself. You just share with me these numbers. Okay, student? Okay, student. Now I am coming to the student. Will writing the formula, but a very interesting question. If we write the formula only, whether we will award the marks or not. Now, student, in this context, I would like to share one thing with you. It is very interesting part. You have raised a very good question. See what happens in a stepwise marking. Normally, say a solution has a 3 part. Okay, and question is of about 6 marks. So normally, what happens? 1 second. Normally, what happens here? Because see, marking scheme is a prerogative of the head examiner. So normally what happens? They normally say, okay, for this part I am allocating 3 marks. For this part I am allocating 2 marks, and for this part I am allocating 1 mark. Now in this 3 marks, it may be possible that one is formula, another is its application, and here its result. So again here they may award 2 to this, 1 to this, or 1, 1, 1. It depends. Normally, like some formulas are like CAPM, etc. Generally, and it also happens. Sometimes I also want to, very good question you ask, beta. Sometimes what happens? A question may be very small question. Okay, and 6 marks have been allocated. Now, in this case, even a marks can be allocated for small a formula as well, because answer is very small. Now, if the answer is big, so generally formula no marks are. I am not confirming 100%. My request to you, you can write the formula, but don't explain the terms again, because these terms are commonly used. Say if I say CAPM model, I write like that: RF plus beta into RM minus RF. It is a very common. So I just need to write only the formula. Okay. I will not explain this term. RF is equal to risk-free rate of return. RF is equal to risk-free rate. I will not write like that. There is no need to explain this. Only this formula will be suffice. So my request to you, you just write the formula as well. No problem. Then it says How many attempts RTP advisable to solve? Do questions get repeated in an exam from this? See, student, I cannot confirm. Okay, but whatever RTPs are available on ICAI website, you can refer the same. Whatever the mock test, generally these questions are repetitive because sometimes even we use the MTP questions in RTP or RTP questions in MTP. So you can get exposure of new or any type of a questions. Regarding repeating the question, I can't say anything. Okay, it is a paper setter's freedom and I don't know the paper setter. Okay, student, now can we move further? Where we have to find beneficial rate in a future transaction, should we calculate the relative gain or convert the entire calculation in the, for example, both ways. But final answer will be see if you can yes. Any student is asking question? Yes. Yes, Sunita beta, please tell me. Sunita beta, you want to confirm anything? Okay. Okay, so final answer ultimately will be 50,000. So you can see you have two ways. Either you start with the 1 crore and come to 50,000 directly, or you just start with the 0.005 and in the end you come to the by multiplying with the 1 crore, the answer will be the same. But you have to show the final figure, but it should be the same. Like I just give you a very example, very good question is there. Now, generally what happens in case of a option contract, the lot size are there. Okay, if lot size has not been mentioned, okay, if lot size has not been mentioned, so you can take any lot size 1, 10, 100, anything and answer it accordingly. If lot size has been mentioned, so in that case you have two ways. Either you start with the initial calculation, you start with the 100 into something, or you start with the 1 and in the end you show the final calculation. So answer will be the same in both cases. Okay, student. With this, we come to the end of this first portion. Now I am discussing with you the MTP. Now I am starting with the MTP2. Okay. Now here, because in the earlier classes, some students have said, sir, just solve the questions. Blank sheet also. Okay. So I will here I will discuss with you the MTP2 very quickly. Now also first I am starting with the case scenario 1. Okay. Now suppose you are the risk manager at a financial institution and your company has loaned a significant amount of rupees 500 crore to a company X for a period of 3 years, 6 months at a MCLR, that is marginal cost of lending, okay, plus 200 basis point. 200 basis points means 2%. Okay. You are concerned about the X ability to repay the debt due to recent market volatility. To protect your institution from the potential default, you decide to purchase the credit derivative default swap. The moment you read the case study, it strikes in your mind that this question is from the topic derivative analysis and valuation. That is chapter number 9. Okay, so this was because here the topic is related to credit derivative. From ABC Bank for same notional amount. It is very important. notional amount very important, to at a premium quoted at 1% per year. So these two are with the through a cash settlement. Okay, these two through the cash settlement, because these two are the very important point for the same. Okay, now we say on the respective reset date for the same period, actual MCR rate have been given as follows. Okay, now based on the case scenario, answer the following questions. Normally, this MCR rate we shall see there will be not of that much use. Only these have been given to in some type of a confusion in the just giving some confusion, or we can say not confusion, just to test the knowledge of the student. Sometimes extra information it is called. Okay, so we have to be very much clear ki what is cash settlement, what is notional period, and this premium amount. Okay, only once we are clear with the same, then we will see we can easily attempt the MCQs. Okay, so we are attempting, first of all, we are attempting the primary. First MCQ is basically, we can say that if we see the MCQ, the 3 MCQs are theoretical and 2 MCQ. This is numerical based. This is theory based, and this is as well theory based. So first numerical is based on the above scenario. Answer the following questions. The primary purpose of credit default swap is to increase the value of bond. Okay. Okay, to protect against the default risk of a debt obligation, to provide guaranteed profit to the buyer, or to create a new form of loan. You will say that credit default swap means we are swapping our risk of default with other party. So accordingly, these 3 options seems to be out of the question, and ultimately our answer will be the B. Okay, student? Okay, just get downloaded it. Yuvraj, you have sent one paper image. I will get downloaded the same, and just share with us your contact detail if possible. I will contact you. मैं इसको देखूंगा बाद, just open it. मैं इसको बाद में देख लेता हूँ इसमें क्या. ओके, compute the result on average rate ambiguity. But it is too much old. Okay, have you seen the same question again in our I will have to check it. Okay, you have shared with me. You contact the detail. I will contact you back. Okay. Okay, just note it down. Let me. Okay, I will contact you better. Now, next it says, which of the following statement is true about CDS contract? Okay, it says the CDS contract cannot be used for the speculation. Okay. Next it says CDS contract are governed by government regulations. Okay, CDS contract are private agreement between the 2 parties. CDS contract eliminates all risk for the buyer. Now, if we see, analyze the question, because see, in our once we have gone through the study material, so we will क्रॉस आउट दिस ऑप्शन. अगर हमने स्टडी मटेरियल का ज्ञान है, हमें प्रॉपर है, तो हम पहले ऑप्शन पहले कर देंगे, क्योंकि इसको हम स्पेकुलेशन के लिए भी इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है. ओके, सो दूसरा आता है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आर गवर्न्ड बाय गवर्नमेंट रेगुलेशन। गवर्नमेंट रेगुलेशंस इतने नहीं होते हैं इसके लिए, जनरली इसके लिए जो गाइडलाइंस बनी है वो ISDA की है। अभी जो हम अगला देखेंगे, फिर इसके बाद कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एलिमिनेट्स ऑल रिस्क टुगेदर ऑफ द बायर्स। नो, it eliminates only default risk. Okay, since our bonds are subject to many kinds of risks like price risk, etc. Okay, so they cannot be eliminated at all. Okay, so this option is also cross out. Okay, so these two options are cross out, so ultimately correct option comes this way. Okay, now next we come the which organization publish the guidelines and the rules for conducting the credit firm. So generally these are not there and it has been clearly mentioned in the study material. This is ISDA. Now it comes with a two theoretical numerical question. Assuming no default occurs, the total premium your company pay during the designated loan period shall be. Now here, see here, it is very important. Our premium was 1% per year of the notional amount. Okay, and our notional amount is 500 crore. Okay, and the period is, now it is very important. Now here we are, this is per year premium. Okay, now here this production we are purchasing. The period for the loan is a 3 year. Okay, so we are purchasing the same option for the 3 year. Okay, since the loan is amount is there, so we shall, it will be assumed. Okay, it will be assumed that it shall be purchased for the 3 year unless and until specified. Generally, these are purchased for the same period because generally credit default are swapped for the repayment of interest and repayment of loan amount. So generally these are the same period. So generally these are always assumed they are for the same unless and until specified. So sometimes they may be for the short term if it has been mentioned. Okay, so into 3 year. So ultimately the amount will be paid is 15 crore rupees. So our option will be correct, will be for, okay student. Now next we comes, suppose if the lender defaults somewhere in the beginning of the 3rd year after the payment of interest up to 2 year, and the market value of the reference loan is 75% of its par value, then ABC will pay your bank company the amount in cash settlement. Now see, there are two type of settlement. One is physical settlement, another is cash settlement. In a physical settlement, what they do, they transfer the bonds or the securities to the seller of the credit default swap and take the full amount. Okay, in the cash settlement, what they say, we do the cash settlement of the difference amount. अगर डिफरेंस अमाउंट की हम बात करें तो वो क्या करते हैं, उसमें जो डिफरेंस आएगा, डिफरेंस कितना रहेगा बेटा, 100% घटा में 75%, 25% रहेगा। और 25% किसका रहेगा, 25% रहेगा आपका लोन अमाउंट का। तो लोन अमाउंट का अगर हम 25% लेते हैं 500 करोड़, स्टूडेंट इफ वी टेक द 25% of the notional amount, because we are doing it by way of cash settlement, the amount comes rupees 125 crore. Okay student, so this is the answer of this. Okay, now I am coming to the case scenario 2. It says that XYZ Limited is a mid-sized manufacturing company that produces industrial equipment. The company is considering a new investment project, a state-of-an-art automated production line, which is expected to improve production efficiency. The details of the same project are as follows. Now, this is the initial cost, okay, sales per unit and 40 cost per unit. These units have been given. Okay, so the applicable discount rate is 10. So this gives some idea that This topic belongs to advanced capital budgeting. That is, this is chapter number 3. Okay, and sensitivity is one of the topics. So it starts with the sensitivity analysis, helps to analysis the project, to identify this to break even point, the degree at which change in each every asset, the amount of investment. So ultimately, we you see that this is the most correct answer. And if you very simple, you will not face any problem. Okay, then it says the sale price per unit so that the project would be break even with the 0 NPV shall be approximately. Now here, student, when we calculate the sensitivity, carry out the sensitivity analysis, there are two approaches. One approach that we want to see or we measure the change required in a one variable, keeping the other variable status quo, and a change in the one variable required so that our NPV becomes 0. So it means our NPV becoming is a break-even point. Okay, so with 0 NPV we are becoming. So this method will be used here. Okay, here we shall use this method, and accordingly what calculations we shall do, I just show you by way of calculation. Okay, so here again in this question there is two theoretical, 4 numericals are there. Okay, 1 theoretical there. Okay, so I just show you by calculation. Just have some patience. Now let us assume let's add to be the sale price. Now we have to make our NPV equal to 0. So what will be our initial cash outflow? That should be equal to our present value factor, that is here. Okay, so here value becomes S value will become rupees 50.26. Okay, if we see the question, normally we have been provided with the choice of, let me, option is there 55.28. Okay, student. So you will see that our answer is 55.2826. You will say my answer may be wrong. No, student, please see. Generally, what happens if you see the MCQ? If you see the MCQ, just I show you. Here it is approximately. We are using the word approximately. So you will see this figure is quite near. Okay, this figure is quite near. So this much of approximation will be there, because if you carry out calculation with the one less decimal point than this, so your answer will be this much correct. So you have to see your answer may be slightly different, but because since you are not to solve it, what was the nearest figure, okay, you have to mark it as a correct option. Okay, then next comes, next it says the cost per unit so that the project would be break even with the 0 NPV and shall be approximately. Now we have to compute the cost at which it will be the 0 NPV. Okay, so now let us see the solution. Similar to above, let C be the okay. The C will come calculation. Okay, so the correct option will be okay. Now we come to the next question that says overall cash in the sales volume will lead to the project to break even with the zero NPV. Okay, now student here, very important. First of all, very important. There are four options. Two options are increase, and two options are with the fall. So you have to see. Our NPV is always better. You just compute NPV first. Okay, with the given data, you compute the NPV first because that will give you the hint whether increase or whether decrease. So first of all, we compute the NPV and then we decide further. This MCQ number is 9. So with the given data, we are computing the NPV, simple NPV, because it is the first part we have to calculate. We cannot avoid the same. Okay, our NPV will be 3,10,632. Now this will determine. This will determine. Okay, this will determine. Okay, so we have to see, since it is a positive, since NPV is a positive, we have to make our factor. Our sale is also positive. Okay, NPV positive, sale is positive. So to make our NPV to the zero, we have to decrease the overall sale. We have to decrease or fall in the this. Okay, so it means we can rule out these two options. Okay, these two options are not there. Okay, sorry, my mistake. It is not option. This we have to rule out this option. Increase options have to be ruled out. So there will be only two options that will be left, and we will work on this. Okay, now let us see how we work on it. See, here the difference is NPV is this much. Okay, we have to see how much decrease or how much fall is required to bring existing NPV to 0. Okay, accordingly, we carry out calculation like this. So this should be fall. It is very important. Okay, so accordingly, our correct option will be this B. Okay, student. I hope it is clear to you. Somewhere around. Okay, my answer is coming somewhere. I think my answer was coming 23.16. So it is somewhere nearby. Okay, so we have to just get a glimpse only. Just we have to get a hit only. Okay, student. Now we are coming to the last question of this this case scenario. And or increase or fall in the initial outlay will lead to project break even with the 0 NPV. Now here, very important. Since we have already computed that our NPV is positive. Our NPV is positive. Okay. And our cash initial outlay is negative. So to make our NPV 0, we have to increase the negative. Okay. That is how much increase is required for our capital in this our capital. So accordingly, our this fall and fall, this B possibility will be ruled out. Okay, this possibility be ruled out. Only this will be the option will left. Okay, so now let us see, compute the calculation. So what we do, we make it 0. We write it like that, minus I plus or we can say that we not to carry out similar to it. Similar to it, what we say 3,10,000. Okay, accordingly 3 lakh, sorry, not 3 lakh, it is 10 lakh. Okay, into 100. So it will be 30.6%, that is increase. Okay, student. So this much of increase is required to make our NPV. So our option, if we see that, our options are this. So our answer will be this. Now, student, I am just showing you because initially I thought I got you verified by this equation. Now, suppose if this increase is there. Now, our options are 31. It is nearby some option. Okay, it is the nearest to 31.06. Please remember. Okay, now if I see, if I try the same, if I verify the same, what I do, I am increasing my initial outlay by 31.03%. Okay, 1 second, I just carry out on this calculator. Just a second. So my revised calculation comes to 31 this much. Okay. Now what I do, I write this figure plus my NPV. Okay, my factor were like that. 363 I am taking from here. These figures I will take. Okay, 3636. Four five one one two eight. Okay, let us see what will be the answer. Okay, just I am showing you the verification of the same. Okay, so our answer will be somewhere around 31.300 plus 31 this 632. Of course, there is somewhere minus. So somewhere nearby minus answer is there. We can avoid the same due to rounding up, but it is coming to somewhere near to 0. Okay, if I take this figure, here, then my answer will be match. Okay, it will be match. Okay, so it will become 0. So you can see we have just simply solved the question and get the answers of MCQ. I am coming to the last MCQ, last case scenario of this session of mock test. If any student have any doubt, they can ask me. Now this is regarding a topic topic of security valuation, and here the concept of term structure have been used. Now here it says you are an investment analyst working for a financial advisory firm. You have been asked to analyze the bond market's yield curve to assist your clients in making investment decisions. The yield curve represents a relationship between the interest rate yield and the time to maturity for the debt security, usually government bonds. For simplicity, assume the following data for the government bonds over the maturity measured in there. Now here, very important. See, with the maturity, our interest rates are rising up. So it always says our yield curve is, you can say, with the passage of time, it is coming shaped like this. It is a normal shape. Okay, because with the passage of time, every investor expect more return because they have to carry a lot of risk. So we first theory. Okay, two theoretical questions are there and 3 numerical questions. Now it says based on the main characteristic of the normal yield curve is. So it is a basic characteristic. What is about a normal yield curve? What it says, because it says that with the passage of time, higher the longer the period, higher will be the expectation. So this will be the option. Short. See, if I take other options, normal yield curve is this one. This is the normal yield curve. Okay. If I say short term yields are longer than long term, so my curve will be like that. This is called inverted yield curve. Okay. And generally this happen in case of a recession in the economy, because it is normally recession time. It is an indicator of recession because people are losing the faith in the economy. Okay. They are concerned with as much as quickly I can get the money now. Okay. Quickly now. Short-term yields are lower than this. So this option is this one. Okay. Yield remain the same all cross maturity. This is called flat yield curve. Okay. This is called flat yield curve. Generally, this happens in case if there is no any growth, everything is same. Okay. Yield fluctuate randomly over maturity period. Generally, these are kind of we can say it is also called hump. type of a curve. So these can be possibility. Only the normal yield curve possibility remains. Short-term yields are lower than the long-term yields. Okay, student. Now we come to the next question. Based on the revised yield data, what is the, it is, just avoid this word revise, it is mistakenly typed. What is the yield spread between the 10-year bond? Okay, what is the, and the 1-year bond? What is the, between the 10-year bonds? What is the spread means? Difference. Simply spread mean difference. Okay, 10-year bond here, it is 7%, it is 3%. So the difference of these two comes 4%. Very simple. An inverted yield curve typically indicates, as I told you, an upcoming recession. Okay, very simple. Now I'm coming to last two questions that are numerical based question. If an investor is looking to invest for a period of, invest for 2 years, starting 3 years from now, the forward rate he would expect for, now he is expected to invest after 3 years. Okay, for the period of 2 years. So we can say it is between these two. So we have to find out what will be the rate, justified rate. So that is, I show you how we compute the same. So we can say that starting from the 0 period up to 3 year and for the 2 year. So rate relevant for us are for the 5 year and 3 year. Okay. So the yield rates are relevant for us are here for 2 years, 3 years. Now we shall compute here. How we can compute? Let us see. Now because this is unknown. 3-year rate is available with us. If we see that 3-year rate is 5%. Okay, and 5-year rate is 6%. Okay, now unknown is rate portion is this much. Okay, I assume that I am investing for the 3-year. I will rotate this amount. Okay, I will roll over this amount after the passage of a 3-year. मैं ये मानता हूं कि अभी 3 साल के लिए पैसा लगा दूंगा, फिर उसको मैं 2 साल के लिए और लगाऊंगा, तो मेरी रिटर्न 5 साल के बराबर आनी चाहिए. आई अज्यूम दैट if I invest just now for the 3 year, then I will roll over amount this for 2 years, then my amount yield should be the same as yield of the 5th year. So accordingly, I can write it like that: 106 raised to power 5 equal to 1.03. I invest, 0.5 investing for 3 year, and for the unknown rate of interest, I am investing this amount for the 2 year. Okay. Accordingly, if I solve this equation, I will get the answer R is equal to 7.52%. Okay. So our correct option will be this one. Okay, now I am coming to the last question. It says that if an investor is looking to invest for a period of a 2 year, starting from the 5 year from now, the forward rate he would expect should be this. Now here again, I just take you to the diagram. No problem. Okay. So here the period is 5 year. Okay. This is 0 period. This is 5 year. Then again, I am taking here for the 2 years. So it is coming 7. So 2 year here. Again, the rate is unknown. Okay, this 2 years. And up to for 5 year, rate is known to me. Okay, the rate for the 5 year is 6%. And for the 7, it is 6.40. So this rate is unknown. So accordingly, what I will do, I will Same way I will assume initially I will invest for the 5 year, then I will roll over for the 2 years. That should be equal to my return for the straight way 7 year yield. ओके मैं ये मानता हूं कि या तो मैंने 5 साल के लिए 6% ब्याज पे पैसा लगाया, फिर उसके बाद मैं उसको 2 साल के लिए रोल ओवर करूंगा, वह मेरा पैसा वो 7 साल के लिए अगर मैं 6.4% पे पैसा लगाता हूं उसके बराबर होना चाहिए। उसी के हिसाब से मैं यह लॉजिक निकाल सकता हूं 1.640 7 is equal to should be equal to 1.06 raised to power 5. ओके तो मैं इसके हिसाब से करता हूं 1.54 और मैं इसको ठीक है, और ये रहेगा हमारा 1+r⁻²। ओके सो हमारा आर आ जाएगा 7.41%। ओके अकॉर्डिंगली हमारी करेक्ट ऑप्शन जो बनेगी वह ऑप्शन बनती है ए ऑप्शन। Okay, student. So with this, we have come to the end of the part 1 of our mock test. Now we come to the remaining part, that is descriptive part of the mock test 2. Now see, as if we move further, we can see that this question may be a surprise element for you. Okay, this question may be surprise element for you because here we have to value the startup method. We have to use the value the startup and using the first Chicago method. Okay, student. Now, if we read it from the study material, the method is very simple. Okay, but we may have not paid attention to the same. And had we have gone through this concept, then it was very simple to attempt the question, because here, in case what happens, we have to consider 3 possible scenarios: best case, base case, and worst case. And accordingly, we have to compute the value in each scenario. And then we have to make the weighted average, use the weighted average of the same. Just simple, very simple. So accordingly, if I say this is a question, discounting rate we have to be used, then it is a terminal value has been there. The multiplier for the terminal value, it has been missed out, is 10 and no and tax-free zone. So since very important point, it was a tax-free zone, so there was no tax-wise applicable. Okay, then present value factor has been given to us. Okay, so 8 marks question is there, and we have to round off the calculation up to whole number. So you will see in our answer, our all calculations are without decimal point. Okay, now let us see the answer. What we are doing simply, we are simply showing here revenue. We are showing here revenue. This is our expenses. So whatever be our earning, that will be considered cash flow because there are no depreciation at all. Okay, so these are our cash flows. We are multiplying with the present value factor. Okay, this is a factor. And now this amount is very important. This is terminal value. Okay, this is terminal value. Okay, how we have computed terminal value? Because terminal value is a multiplier 10. So 36 lakh terminal value is 3 crore 60 lakh. Accordingly, we are multiplying with the PV factor. The overall amount comes. So value of startup under a best case scenario is this much of amount. Similarly, we have computed the base case scenario. Okay, so here these cash flows, this is PV factor, and again here, so this is value under the case of base case, and this value is under the worst case. So accordingly, these are the values. Okay, now we shall use the respective probability. Okay, and we shall compute the weighted average. So this is a very simple question, very simple question. So you can answer it very easily. Next is a theoretical question. There is no, now here it is very important. In this question, please pay the attention. We have used the word list out. So you see here in the answer we have used only first part. In the first part of the theory, we have used only the headings. Okay, but in later part we need explanation, so we have to use this detailed answer. Now next question is also a new question, but you can simply attempt the same because here the concept of security valuation is there. Okay, all figures are there. So here the concept of free cash flow will be used, and more important term, the new debt to be raised for the short-term funding is very important because it has to be added. Okay, normally confusion is there, but it has to be added. Okay, so solution was very comprehensive. I think you may not have faced any problem. Okay, and as I discussed in the during the session, someone is saying, sir, whether we have to show the calculation overall or we have to take by 1 unit, and then so you can see alternatively we have considered it on the per share basis, then we have combined value. Okay, we have here combinedly value, and then we have come to the per share basis. We directly have come to jump to the per value. Okay, so our next question was from your study material. That would not have posed you any problem. Then again, 3A question was from study material. These two questions are also from your study material. And this is also your question from study material. This is question also from the study material. Now, this was a bit new question for you. Okay. And we have seen the very simple merger acquisition questions are there. And very important fact is here that this is a combination of many things. Okay, first, what we have to very important point here, the distinct point was that appreciation in the land and value of land and building of the one company, that we have to consider. That was a one important point. And very important point another is that see, we have to apply the weightage for the each factor. We are not for the swap ratio, we are not following only one ratio, we are following the weighted. So now we are ultimately what we have done, we have come to the solve the question. Okay, when we have solved the question, we found out that now here when we have solved the question, okay, first of all, some was our working notes, and then it was the main calculation of the swap ratio. Very interestingly, in this, our swap ratio has come is to 1:1. The interesting part was this. It is rarely expected. Now, it may give the confuse, or it may raise a question in our mind whether I am correct, because 1:1 rarely happens. Okay. So this was the uniqueness of this question. Okay, then it was a theoretical question. Again, this is a numerical question that is based on your study material. You may not have faced one. This is a question on security. So with this, we come to the end of today's session. Okay, you have seen, we student, in today's session, what we have covered. We have covered three things very important. Nowadays, in these days, how we have to prepare ourselves for the examination. Then another important point, one day before examination and during the examination. So student, my purpose of sharing the tips is just to help you to secure good marks in the examination. Of course, why? Because AFM paper is a very scoring paper. Okay, this gives the leverage of the marks. We can say it is compensate the required marks to pass any group for the remaining papers. Sometimes used to what happens, FR paper, because this paper comes on a second number, it has been observed that sometimes paper 1 comes a little tricky. So everyone said get depressed. They in even 1 or 2 cases I have observed that they have not gone to take the exam number paper number 2. So my request to you, please don't skip your exam. Okay, डर लग रहा है लगने दो, जैसा होगा वैसा होगा, कोई बात नहीं, पर पेपर आपने देने जरूर जाना है। मेरी आप लोगों से विनती है, आप पेपर जरूर देने जाइए। कितना मर्जी डर लग रहा है, देखो अगर आप डरोगे नहीं जाओगे तो फिर तो और डरते रहोगे पूरी उम्र, क्योंकि आज नहीं गए तो कभी नहीं जा पाओगे। तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट ये है और मेरी विनती है कि आप पेपर देने जरूर जाइए, बिना डरे। सब कुछ ठीक ठाक रहेगा, आप तैयारी करके जाइए और मन से जाइए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। क्योंकि एग्जामिनेशन में आपने जो 3 घंटे 3.25 घंटे में करना है, और आराम से कीजिए, बिना खौफ के कीजिए, आप अपने आप आपको फर्क महसूस होगा और आपका रिजल्ट अच्छा आएगा। सो स्टूडेंट, माय रिक्वेस्ट टू यू फाइनली आई विल से, please don't skip your exam in any case, even if you are have some worries etc, because it is a normal with every student. Even I, as a my of age, I was also very much worried, but my parents and my mentor used to say, no, don't worry, go there to and take the exam. And ultimately what happened, if you discuss the same thing with your peer, your principal, they will share the same scenario. They were not going to take the exam, but once they have gone, they have scored well. So my request to you again, you go there and take the exam full-heartedly and with a full enthusiasm, and come out with the flying colors. Okay, student, with this, I convey my best wishes from the Board of Studies, and I expect whenever you come to me or you contact me next time, you will say, I have become chartered accountant. So I hope now you are student, when you will contact me next time, you will say, I am CA this. Okay, student, with this, I come to the end of the session. Have a nice day and thanks for patient listening. Thank you very much. Next. Okay, student. Thank you very much.